I have another very beautiful guest for you. You may be seeing her here for the first time, and of course, you are going to hear from her. So, let me know you.
Hi, my name is Winona. Greetings, Benin.
Okay, so we're now from the US.
Yes.
Right. You came into Benin a few months or almost a month ago or so. Like,
Yeah, it's been
okay.
about a month.
Okay, it's been about a month, but you have been in Africa before then.
Oh yes, yes. I was staying in another country in Nigeria and decided that I wanted to come to Benin. I was in a situation that I believe I needed to get out of Nigeria, and Harriet's Place. You're familiar with Harriet's Place. Was very beneficial and helpful in getting me here safely to Benin, and I've enjoyed my journey here so far.
Okay, yeah. So you say you were in Nigeria and you were in some situation that you have to leave Nigeria, so that some people or maybe someone watching may not think maybe maybe you did something wrong in Nigeria. So like, can you maybe just give us maybe a little light on maybe what the situation was, and then how do you think Benin was the best place for you instead of Nigeria?
Okay, well, I was in a situation that was exploitative and abusive, personally and also with immigration.
Okay, the Nigerian immigration.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. And
wow.
so I felt like I was in danger, and I feel like I needed to get out of Nigeria because I was in a very abusive and exploitative situation there. And unfortunately, Americans sometimes can find themselves in these situations, especially now with all of the immigration and travel challenges that the United States is placing on immigrants going or that are already in the United States. There are countries here that are, I guess, retaliating when American citizens are here on the continent, and those countries are making it more and more difficult
Wow.
for Americans to reside there and to obtain visas easily.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think I get your point, and I have maybe some light. Man, this is very unfortunate. But wait, like, how long did you stay in Nigeria?
I was in Nigeria for a year and a half, but I have been coming back and forth to Nigeria since 2021.
Oh, since 2021.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
wow, wow. Oh no, you spent some. Maybe you spent some time in Nigeria. So maybe the situation just come very very recently.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, is an unfortunate experience. How were you able to say, okay, maybe Nigeria is, I mean, this situation, you didn't go to Gambia, Kenya, or every other country, but you just, okay, maybe you want to come to the Republic of Benin. And how was the experience like? Maybe let's just go straight to the point out.
Okay, well, once we crossed the border, I felt the peace here. I felt relaxed and relieved. Um, the immigration process was very streamlined. I wasn't exploited in any way. Nobody tried to extort money from me. Yes, I'm going to go there, like in Nigeria. I can laugh about it now, but it really wasn't funny going through it. The people at Beninese immigration, just hats off to you guys. You guys made me feel welcome. You made the process easy. It was a very straightforward process. My situation or my experience with the Nigerian Immigration Services, every time I contact them, I went down to the office, the protocols and the policies and the prices would change. Yes.
Like the best
And
is funny.
so I did not experience that with Benin. Benin is a very straightforward, streamlined. Yes, it is an organized process. You have to go through some things, but they're not exploitative. They're not extorting money from you. They're not changing the prices up. It's very streamlined. I was treated very dignified. I was not treated dignified in Nigeria with NIS. My experience with NIS was totally traumatic and horrible. I believe that the Beninese government has done an excellent job with streamlining the visa process for those of us from America, from the diaspora who want to come to Benin. I'm here to tell you I've gone through the process. I have my residency. Hallelujah. And it was not difficult. It was not expensive, and the people treated me very well. And it was a welcome experience, especially seeing what I had went through with NIS. And I also want to add, diaspora, don't go to Nigeria, not right now. If you want to come to the continent and you want to go through an easy visa process, if you want to come to a country that is welcoming, not perfect, but welcoming and willing to work with you, Benin is a place that you really need to consider.
Okay, now you talk about maybe you go to the immigration office and the prices change every time. Like this is not a market. Like
Exactly.
I do not understand. Like how do you make the payments? Like do you make the payment online or you give the money to somebody and then the person make the money and the person go ahead and pay.
Okay, so the very first time that I went to the Nigeria Immigration Services, there was an office where you could. Nigeria has this form of payment where you can transfer bank to bank, bank account to bank account. So a lot of their financial transactions are accepted that way. They also did have, I think that they did accept cards at one point, but most of the official forms of payment in Nigeria is bank transfer to bank transfer.
Like you transfer to a government bank account or you transfer to an individual that will go ahead and make the payment to the government.
It's supposed to be to a government bank account, but
Okay.
that's all I'm going to say.
Anyway. Anyway, we may not be able to say everything online, but the experience is horrible.
Yes, it is.
Especially when you go to a government agency, we will expect that okay, when I go there, whatever is the cost is what I'm going to pay.
Yes.
Yeah, but in most cases, it's not so. Now I've been in. I live in Nigeria for years.
Okay.
Like yeah, I live in Nigeria for years, more than like about 13 years,
Okay.
and I still have business in Nigeria that I go back and forth to do. And some of these things that you are talking about, they are not strange to me. They are not strange to me, but it's just somehow unfortunate because let's be serious, it's traumatic.
It is. It was very traumatic for
It's
someone.
traumatic, yeah. It is traumatic. So I think basically that is what it is now. Or you have lived here, you are able to go. I think we went for a tour.
Yes.
I think maybe the first day or the second day you came in, we went for a tour. Like how was that tour? Like I really want to hear.
Oh my God. So, Brother Sylvain took us on a tour to Ouida.
Yes.
And it is known as the spiritual capital of
Yes,
the Benin
of-
Republic.
yeah.
And I'm a spiritual person, so I was like, yes, definitely, I'm gonna go. And it was amazing. We visited the Temple of Python,
Yeah.
the Sacred Forest. We went to the Door of
Door
No
of no
Return
return.
on the beach.
Yeah.
Everything was so organized, and Brother Sylvain was an excellent tour guide and translator because the official tour guides, if you will, speak native language, which is French. So he translated everything to English for us, and it was an amazing experience. It really helped break me open in terms of wanting to know more about African spirituality. I know what we have been taught in America. I know what we have this mentality in America that everything, the Vodun, I think it was the Vodun festival that was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Vodun, voodoo, oh, it's bad. But it really isn't. We have to learn to open up ourselves and learn about our heritage and our culture because we won't know until we at least open up ourselves to learn about where we come from. And then you can make a proper assessment of whether or not it's voodoo is wicked or if it's demonic or whatever. I didn't feel threatened or scared from the tour or the experience. It was very enlightening. I just enjoyed myself thoroughly. I learned some history, and I'm a history buff, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think basically it is what it is a way of traveling expand your knowledge.
Yeah.
This opened my eyes to a whole lot of stuff. Now well after I did my Bible education in Nigeria, and of course I understood the spirituality, like the Christian spirituality, very well because I'm a Christian. And then my father owned voodoo. My father is a Zangbeto priest. Yeah, very sacred voodoo. And I also read a whole lot about other spirituality, Shinto, Buddhism, and every other thing. Now, this is a way of you saying, okay, this is how the life is structured. So you do not just maybe look at one aspect and say, okay, this is the best. You have to make a villain to make sure that there is a good. When we were, I believe maybe this is something that we should discuss here or not. But when we were going into the temple of Python, you took me aside and said, oh, what's the spiritual implication of putting a snake on the neck?
Yep.
Yeah. Most people, that's what they think. When you post something like this, when you post something like that online, you see people say, oh, not me, not me, not me. I will never do it. I will never do it. But when you come to the temple of Python, everything is done so professionally that even if you are afraid, you were afraid before entering the temple of Python, you are definitely going to find some kind of peace as okay, this is not that harmful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically it is just what it is. And going through the cities, like how do you think the lifestyle, especially the frank this is a frank conversation,
Yes.
the lifestyle compared to the one in America?
In America?
Yes. And yeah.
Well, it is definitely very different.
Okay.
Most notably, it is a French-speaking country, and America is English-speaking, so that's a big difference. And it's a learning experience. I do use my translator app, a lot to communicate with the people, and for the most part, the people are very friendly. They understand if we don't speak French or we don't speak it that properly, because French is a somewhat difficult language to learn and even speak. They're very patient with American or English speaking people. Whereas in America, people who speak a foreign language, people aren't always that patient with foreigners who speak a different language in America. Americans will tend to speak the language. English is the language, and you stop speaking your native tongue. I've never felt that experience here. People understand. People try to help. If there's any type of language barrier, or if we're trying to ask for something in a store or order something in a restaurant, or even in my case, I visited a French-speaking church a few times, and I'll sit there. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I kind of get what he's saying, but then sometimes he'll have one of the members who speaks English actually translate, summarize in English what he's saying, and I've been prophesied to, and the lady translated it in English. So they're very accommodating that way. That's one of the biggest differences I found, that they're a whole lot more accommodating here of Americans or English speaking people than America is of other people who speak other languages.
Okay, so basically, what would be your recommendation for you, maybe for people who are maybe planning to maybe relocate to, especially West Africa, other than visiting maybe Ghana, which is like I'm trying to see the places that are safe enough for people to live in West Africa. Of course, that doesn't mean that every other place is not safe.
Yeah.
I'm just trying based on the rating. Like, what will be your recommendation?
Well, I haven't been to anywhere else but here in Nigeria. But if you are American and you're looking to perhaps relocate or expat to any part of West Africa, of course, I recommend Benin. If you're open to, the French speaking experience and things being a little bit different, if you're not ready to relocate or visit a French speaking country, I've heard that Ghana is pretty okay. I I can't really. I've heard Togo is really beautiful as well, but they're French speaking as well. Ghana, I guess, will be probably the place to visit in West Africa. That's English speaking. They do have several, I think, different programs
Yeah, yeah.
for citizenship and what have you, and things to like attract Americans who are interested in visiting the continent. So, aside from Benin, I think Ghana would be a good place.
Okay, so I think basically that is what we are going to discuss in this video. Watch for any other interview from Winona. See you in another video. Bye.
Bye bye.